everyone. It's Friday, which means time to deploy. Matt, you're back. How was your vacation?
I am back. Thanks for having me back after, a week and a half off. I'm remembering how to computer again, which is nice, mouse, keyboard, all that sort of stuff. But it means it was a good trip. So for those playing at home, we had a family trip. So I'm based down in Tasmania. We caught the big boat, the Spirit of Tasmania, over to Geelong, which is just out of Melbourne. And then we experienced the lovely mid 40-degree temperature that Victoria and New South Wales are currently experiencing. That's Celsius, by the way. What's that in
Yes.
Fahrenheit? 100 and something.
110. Yeah,
Yep.
about 110. Yep.
Yep.
So
But yeah, it was a good family holiday. We went and did all the, Melbourne-y stuff, and then we went and caught up with some friends who are just over the border of New South Wales. And yeah, that was a lot of time spent in the pool trying to escape the heat. So yeah.
awesome stuff. Yeah, it's been a
How about
busy
you?
week. Yeah, we've had a lot of stuff going on, obviously. Yeah, just lots of planning around RKO, which we mentioned last week. That's our revenue kickoff, which will be starting next week. I can't believe you and I are going to be leaving the sunny shores of Australia, heading over to Europe, and
Hmm.
we'll be meeting with our friends over there. So that'll be interesting. We'll be doing a lot of planning and talking about what's coming up for 2026 and beyond, even though we are in 2026, but there you go. Anyways, lots of stuff that's been happening, including some blog posts. So this one is from Matt. This is entitled Octopus Easy Mode Manual Intervention. So you may remember Matt started off or kicked off this blog post series last week. This is Octopus Easy Mode, where we're talking about basically things that you can do with our AI assistant integration. And so in the previous post, he talked about adding environment scope variables. In this one, he's talking about utilizing manual intervention. So he's doing this via the Octopus AI Assistant, which you can use if you have Chrome installed, and you can run it as a Chrome extension. And this will allow you to interact with your agent, or rather your instance, excuse me. So in terms of creating the project, pretty simple prompt. So create a script project called 03 script app with manual intervention, then add a manual intervention step as the first step in the deployment process, scoped to the production environment only, with the instruction, please approve deployment to production. For those folks who don't know what a manual intervention, it's like Octopus grabbing a human being saying, hey, I need you to approve or deny this deployment from continuing onward. And so it's like go grab a human is basically the way I like to describe it. So if you want to generate this utilizing the AI assistant, you can do so utilizing that prompt, and basically showcases what's part of that. And that's from Matt. So that's Octopus Easy Mode. If you're looking to do this, you can just follow along with these blog posts that Matt are going to be writing about all the things you can do around the AI assistant as well, which is going to be fantastic. We also have another one here from Matt. This is the AWS Well-Architected reports with Octopus AI Assistant. So for those folks who don't know, before we talk about doing more stuff with the AI assistant, it's important to mention that when we think about AWS well-architected reports, you might wonder, like, what is this thing that you're describing here? And basically, it's utilizing this in the context of Octopus AI Assistant allows you to generate these best practices, these reports essentially that are available from AWS, and you can find them up here on aws.amazon.com. And essentially, what these are is basically a summary of architectural best practices when it comes to things around AWS. And so this has been around for a bit. These are basically a way in which you can utilize a prompt for describing best practices and a text representation of your project to produce a report that measures alignment with these best practices. And so the way this is done is obviously with the AI assistant, and you ask it as a prompt for generating as such. And I know that the image here is a little bit small, but if we go ahead and blow this up, you can see here that the prompt is basically generating that best practices report, and it's interpreting the best practices against the project that you designate. So in this case, this is the Octopus Copilot function project, and the AI assistant utilizes that prompt for describing the best practices and the text representation of that. And so you utilize this with the Chrome extension, and it generates that against your report. And if you want to use this, you can use this right away. It's just another way in which you can certainly utilize the AI assistant with things like the AWS best practices, well-architected best practices report generation. What do you think about this, Matt? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. Matt's series of blogs, they're always great ones to read, but this series in particular about the AI assistant is going to be, I think very helpful to a lot of folks with that getting started. But yeah, this alignment with the well-architected framework. I mean, all of the clouds, especially AWS and Azure, have had these well-architected frameworks for ages. And having worked sort of on the service provider space, our job was to set up customers with basically these, landing zones, as they were called, which aligned to the well-architected framework. So a lot of engagements that we had with customers were doing well-architected gap analysis. So seeing what they've got today and what they need to improve on to align with the best practices, or best practices aren't good, but the guidelines that AWS and Azure and Google put in place to say, hey, this is how you should probably operate on our cloud. And there's lots of different decisions that can be made there. But yeah, being able to do this pretty easily is really cool, because there's a lot to these well-architected frameworks. There's usually 6 or 7 different pillars, and then a heap of stuff within those pillars as well that you need to align with. And there are the 6 pillars there from AWS. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the emphasis of this blog post is obviously to showcase how you can treat unstructured DevOps-like data, in the case of Octopus, and utilize that in something that an AI can interpret and use that against plain language policy prompts. And that saves, obviously, teams the effort of having to do these assessments manually. So that's fantastic.
Yep.
We have another blog post here. This one's from Sean. This is entitled Connecting an AKS Argo CD cluster, or instance rather, to a self-hosted Octopus Deploy server. And so if you're looking to do this, this is something that you can check out. Sean's written about here. The idea here is that connecting Argo CD running on Azure Kubernetes Service, or AKS, is to a self-hosted Octopus instance is not too hard. The connection is utilizing some well-adhered ports that we know, port 443, port 8443. These ones are actually in Wikipedia. They're well-architected, well-designed, well-known. So the connection is handled by the Octopus Gateway, and that's for Argo CD. And that's what Sean talks about here. So the Octopus Gateway for Argo CD. And that allows you to basically connect to your Argo CD instances, which run inside your AKS cluster. That provides that secure link between Argo CD back to Octopus, and lets basically Octopus discover any of the applications that you have running inside of Argo, and allows you to manage them as part of a wider deployment process. And so you utilize those ports, you open up those ports available through Octopus. That's the main challenge with anything when you're doing self-hosting is opening up those ports. So 443 for SSL, 8443 for ongoing communication. Obviously DNS, load balancers, all that sort of stuff, certificates, you're gonna have to manage that as well. But once that's all done, Argo CD handles the Kubernetes state, Octopus handles orchestration, environments, promotions, that sort of thing. You get GitOps without giving up release control. So it's the best of all worlds, I guess.
Yep,
Fantastic.
love it. It's nice here that he's gone into some extra detail about some things that can sometimes trip you up, like load balancers. There's a lot of folks out there running things in front of things like Octopus. So yeah, as usual, Sean's done a great job of outlining it there. So yeah, like you said, not too tricky, but this blog's got everything that you need to do that sort of connection back to a self-hosted Octopus instance.
Yeah, the configuration isn't too tough. I mean, it's in this case utilizing Nginx, and then here we're utilizing just a YAML file for defining our core DNS setup. But once that's all done, it's like anything with Kubernetes. The networking tends to be the largest challenge, it seems. So anyway, we got a comment here from Steve. This is Meanwhile in DevOps, episode 54, number 54, and yeah, I enjoyed this one. It's kind of fun. Steve's writing or drawing is getting better, I think, as we go along. So we'll have to learn how to generate these at some point and maybe animate them. That'd be kind of cool. So especially like the raised eyebrow here down at the bottom. So let's do this list on. Awesome. In case you happen to be around, we will be at events near you, hopefully. DevOps Live in London. Matt, you and I are going to be in Sydney for NDC Sydney. We're going to have to get that one listed here on this page. We'll be at KubeCon, of course, in Amsterdam. That's for KubeCon, Cloud Native Con EU, excuse me. And that will also include ArgoCon, which will be running. And then this one we did last year, and we're doing again this year, KubeCon Japan. That one's going to be really, really fun in Yokohama, and hopefully we'll see you there. We have plenty of more events coming. We will add to this list as we go, but, there you go.
Yeah, I've seen the list behind the scenes, and it somewhat scares me. But yeah, we will get them on this page when those events are confirmed for sure. So
Yeah. I have a feeling, Matt, that our days in back in airplanes are going to reappear. I spent a lot of time in the back of an airplane, and after COVID, I was like very happy I wasn't traveling, but it looks like I'm going to start traveling again. So there you go. Take that for what you will. Anyways.
yep, start getting used to those security lines and waiting around for delayed flights and all the joy.
That's right. We have a new episode of CD Office Hours with Tony, Steve, and Bob. In this episode, well, it's labeled as episode 1. We were kind of scratching our heads about this. We were like, this doesn't seem like episode 1. They've been doing it for a while, but they're now publishing it in basically a format utilizing the podcasting capability of YouTube. And so, as it says here, they're talking about managing risk, and they talk about advocating decoupling deployments from releases, etc. So you can watch this at your own pleasure. The ongoing conversations, as they say. And now, as they say, it is time for Support on Friday. This is a bit jolting for you, Matt, coming back to this, fire hose of, graphics and music.
I'm awake now, that's for sure. Yeah, if I wasn't already.
Anyways, Joshua asks, hello, question, does Azure DevOps or ADO talk or communicate to an on-premise Octopus server? You configure the connections, but how does it network between them? And Ben, who is actually a member of the integrations team back in the day, was talking about how it depends on the functionality you're referring to. So in we actually have multiple versions. We're up to V7 now of our integration with ADO. That is Octopus integration within ADO. In V5 and earlier, there were drop-down lists that you could use. You had to pre-configure a connection beforehand, and then you would just select the connection you wanted. And that was for spaces and for projects and stuff. And the API itself had to be publicly exposed. So that was always interesting because people wanted to type those things in, and it became hard for scripting. With V6 and beyond, we actually changed the integration a little bit. I remember when we went through this, and it provides the names of the resources. No callbacks are used for giving you a selector. And for running a step, you would use the ADO runner, which is located inside your network and uses internal network address on your connection. So the idea here is that you utilize the integration there directly. This is still playing, but I just wanted to show you what this looks like here. So when you go into pipelines, you can look at your pipelines here. You have a number of different options available. These are examples of what you can do. You can obviously push package, create release, that sort of thing. And what we do is we expose these here directly through the projects that you see here. As you can see, we're up to version 7 on this now, but these are now exposed, and then we'll talk to the runner that you have installed within your network for doing that communication. That is required as part of that. And obviously the ports that go along with it as well. So you need to make sure you keep those ports open. So, well, like anything, it's a standard sort of challenge around, networking. Networking will always be the bane of our existence.
Yeah, this episode seems to be everything networking related there, right? So yeah.
Right.
So if I got that right, if I'm wanting to run some of those steps in Azure DevOps, I would run that on a self-hosted Azure DevOps runner, which would be running in my environment and have connectivity to my Octopus server. Yeah,
it's
cool.
just like most technologies these days, especially like SaaS offerings, have an agent of some kind that you have to install because of networks, right? You just have to have something that will act as a proxy or something on your behalf to interface with the internals. And it's no different than the Kubernetes agent, for example, that we have, or the build kite agent, or any other agents. We have workers, we have agents, we have all these sort of little mini programs that you can communicate with that will do work on your behalf. And so that's part of the requirement there for ADO.
Yep.
So anyways, there you have it. Welcome back, Matt. It's great to have you back. And I guess we'll see you at some upcoming events soon. And you'll be continuing on with all the things you were doing previously, like the Exploring Octopus series and all those things. Anything on the cards for 2026 that might be new that folks should know?
It's been a bit of a jolting start to the year for me, just my own doing of creating 2 holidays, one over Christmas and one then like mid to late January. So, yes, and now we've got RKO, as we said, in a week or two. Inside platform engineering will be back on tracks soon. So I've got some guests lined up for the next couple of episodes of that. And Exploring Octopus, continuing with that series, having a look at all of the awesome stuff coming out of there as well. And I know that we've got a bunch of different ideas for things to do for this year.
Yes.
I don't think I want to tease any of them yet because...
No, me neither, because I think they're going to be fun. So, but stay tuned for that.
So yeah,
Awesome.
it's going to be an awesome year though. There's lots of ideas both within Octopus, obviously the company, and then within the team that John and I are on within sort of DevRel here with Charlotte and Steve. So yeah, we've got great ideas and I'm excited for this year coming up. That's for sure. So yeah.
Fantastic stuff. All right. Well, on behalf of Matt and myself, happy deployments. We will see you hopefully next week. I'm sure we will. You're not leaving until Saturday, I assume.
Correct. Yeah, we'll be able to sneak one more in from home, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week for the next episode of Deployment Friday. Until then, take care.